Welcome to Engaged, Empowered, Employed. I am the Communications Manager here at NCWorks, Shameika. And today I'm going to be speaking with one of our own team members, Chris Miller. She's the Program Support Manager for NCWorks. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good morning.
You know, it has been a crazy year already, but I want to talk today about your job, what you do here, and about Upskill Grants because we got money to give, right, to employers.
Absolutely.
So let's start. Let's get a little background on how you got to NCWorks because your story is a little bit unique because you started off as a job seeker yourself. So tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. In 2012, when my business went under, I was at wit's end about how I was going to rebrand myself into finding a great position. I had been in an industry that was dying out, so I didn't really want to keep pursuing that. I went to the NCWorks Career Center and took advantage of all of their free services, the workshops, the counseling. Someone helped me develop my resume. Someone actually just sort of helped me frame my skills in a different light. And what happened was, as I was taking advantage of all of this assistance, I just sort of fell in love with what the Career Center offered. And I saw how important it was to me to lift me up and sort of give me the positivity and the momentum to go out and restart my career. Well, I ended up deciding the career I wanted was with the NCWorks Career Centers in NCWorks. And so I began targeting them as my employer, and it worked out.
So when did you start at NCWorks?
I began volunteering there in 2012, and then I was hired on by NCWorks in 2013. So I've been with NCWorks for 8 years now.
Wow. Okay. And we love having you. So talk about, I guess, what you do as a program support manager, because I don't think that people really, while they see us, like our faces and stuff, they don't really know what we do behind the scenes. So kind of give us an overview about what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. So, we have a number of programs that benefit individuals as well as businesses. And one of the things I do is just sort of keep aligning our clients, whether those are job seekers or employers, with our programs. Also, just, we're always striving to make our programs as impactful as possible. So that's just the constant process of getting feedback and, maybe making small policy changes or small procedure changes. And my main and primary function is to administer one of our programs, which is the Upskill Charlotte Grant.
Okay, since you brought that up, let's segue into that. What is that grant?
So the Upskill Charlotte Grant is a grant that allows employers to provide either educational or occupational training for their existing employees. There could be several reasons why this is required. If a company is maybe changing the software they use, or perhaps they're retooling or using new machinery, it's super important to train their employees in the new software or on the machinery in order for them to retain their positions. It could also be that a company has identified someone who is a good candidate for advancement, but maybe they need a certain skill set that they haven't really been exposed to yet. It could be an opportunity for a company to avert layoffs and to remain competitive in the marketplace. So anything that really supports individual employees and allows them to maintain their position in the company is what the grant is primarily about.
Okay. And how do employers discover if they are eligible to partake in the grant?
So the simple eligibility rules is it has to be a company that's located in Mecklenburg County. You have to have at least 3 employees that there's an employer-employee relationship which is basically they work at least 30 hours a week and they receive a W-2. They're not contract workers. They're not part-time workers. They're not seasonal workers. And the business has to have been established in Mecklenburg County for at least a year.
Oh, okay. And how long did the grants usually go for? Is it just kind of like a as needed basis, or is there like a cap on the amount? How does that work?
So the amount is you can apply for up to $10,000 per application. There is a $100,000 lifetime limit for every business, and you can keep applying. We accept applications on a rolling basis. Due to our financial year, we generally close out mid-May and then restart up again at the end of August or beginning of September. But within that time period of September through May, you can ask for up to $10,000. You can use that $10,000 and then you can come back and ask for another $10,000. But Shameika, I just wanted to clarify, there are plenty of people who apply for this grant and they just want $250 to get somebody Excel training. There are also companies that have their own huge training projects in mind, and they're just looking for a way to kind of supplement that cost. So their training project may be $80,000, and they're just looking to us to help alleviate some of the costs of providing their overall training project.
So how can the employers apply? And I know sometimes applications can be scary. So what does that application actually look like?
Well, let me just tell you, I'm going to hold your hand all the way through it. So the application process is this. We generally will meet with a company and just discuss sort of the parameters of the grant and the process. Just make sure they understand a few key things about the grant. There is a simple pre-award analysis that we ask employers to fill out. Just one sheet, basic information about the company. Once we receive that pre-award analysis, we can determine a company's eligibility, which once again goes back to being established in Mecklenburg County for a year, having a certain number of employees that are receiving W-2s, et cetera. Then we will review the application with you to make sure the employer understands all of the questions. And as that application is being filled out, I am available to assist with any sort of narrative or financial question you need to ask me. And once the company submits that application, I'll go over it with a fine-tooth comb because I know what the review board is looking for. Mm-hmm. And you know that is my job, to help eligible companies get this money. So I'll go over it, and if I think there's any additional information we need before submitting to the review committee, then I'll reach back out. And there are very rare instances where it just doesn't look like this grant is a good fit. Mm-hmm. But mostly, I mean, the sky's the limit. We have people that apply for English as a second language. We have people that apply for supervisory training. We have people that apply for spot welding. We have people that apply for very specific software training. It's up to the employer to identify what's needed for either an individual employee or a group of employees. And also, I just want to make this clear, you can apply for more than one training. A lot of people will develop what they need a training project. So a company's looking far ahead and really looking at how they can advance their employees internally, how they can sustain their business. So they may determine a certain group needs this, and maybe one person needs another kind of training. And that becomes a big training project that can add up to $10,000 that they can apply for.
Okay. So do you, off the top of your head, is there any like success story with an employer and the Upskill grant that you can just share with us?
Sure, there are several. There is a construction company that has been able to grow the last time that we talked about this with them was actually 2 years ago. So in a period of utilizing Upskill grants for 2 years, they grew their company 25%.
Wow.
And moved up all the trainees into supervisory positions. There is another company that in hospitality and restaurants that increased their franchises from, I believe, when they started working with us on Upskill, they had 7 franchises, and I think they're now 15 or 16. And once again, that was over the course of 3 years. The thing that these companies have in common is they were very intentional about identifying what was going to be the most beneficial to their employees and to help their employees move up the ladder and to help the business stay competitive in the marketplace.
Wow. Okay. Those are some great like success stories. So Chris, tell everybody how they can like reach out to you, where they need to go to apply for these upskill training grants. Like give them all the info.
Sure. Well, the information can be found on our website at www.charlotteworks.com. And that will basically just connect you to me. And my email is cmiller@charlotteworks.com.
Perfect. I want to thank you, Chris, for breaking it down for us today on the Upskill Training Grant and letting us know about your background, what you do here at Charlotte Works. So thank you so much.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about Upskill.